Hey, welcome everybody. It's Thursday, August 29th. This is the Lavanya members call, and Megan and I were just chatting before the recording started, and it's perfect chat. She's talking about her dreams. What are your dreams for this lifetime, Megan?
Oh, well, okay. So first one, which I'm actively trying to work on, is I want to transform how healthcare currently is. I feel like it's a lose-lose situation, whether it's the patient, provider, insurance. There's someone losing at some point in it. And there's so many mysteries and regulations that they just keep building upon. And so being in the fields that I have from different of the more administrative side of it, there's a ton, like a really easy way I feel like to do it. And so I have a thought, or my dream is to create a software where it's access to healthcare for patients for free. Providers would pay a fee for like a marketing thing, and they can connect, and just work together. Also, too, having something like that with a database for providers to really practice medicine instead of just like, I don't know,
I,
like
I do know. The reason I live on Maui is because of Kiko Okada, and Kiko is on Maui, you call people your auntie when they're little.
okay.
And so Kiko's been family for
Yeah.
years, and her her health is declining, and
Oh.
she needs supervision. So when
Mm.
she started falling apart, I moved in with her for 15 days, and it was around the clock. And then
Mm.
there's no place to go in the system.
Oh.
And so we had to get her admitted into the hospital as a way to get her into long-term care. And
It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm.
and so the case manager at the hospital
Mm-hmm.
is threatening me on a regular basis, saying she's not covered being here. It's $2,200 a day, and the case manager thinks I'm going to crumble and like, oh, I'll come over and pick her up and take her home. There's nobody to take care of her 24/7.
Oh, if you ever need help with like appealing anything or something, because that totally is like my wheelhouse. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not saying I'm pro or anything,
yeah,
but like I've been in this world for about 15 years because it drives me nuts, especially like I have a couple clients in Hawaii, and they have special regulations where they need to, because they're on an island. They can't just go to another state. They can't, and so they have to adhere to certain regulations that are even different from the states. And
yeah,
so that's horrible that they would do that. And see, that's the thing that makes me mad, is it's like providers are so held back. They can't treat because they have to worry about payment instead of the care for those patients. And
yeah,
it's just money, 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 and regulations instead of
yeah.
caring for people.
So this is really the perfect conversation. Yeah, Marcia, you live in it too? You're muted, sweetheart.
Switch to
So my sister is a health nut, and she's been a health nut all of her life. She eats as clean as she can possibly be. I had put her into a assisted living, which didn't work out, but she was taking kratom. And kratom is not pot, but it is a plant-based, and it has been taking care of her and helping her with her pain and her shakes and everything. Well, now we got kicked out of there because they couldn't take care of her. Now I have to go into a nursing home. But guess what? They won't let her have kratom. She has to have a freaking drug.
Mm.
So now we're trying to figure out the drugs, and in the nursing home we're asking, can you at least tell her what she's taking and when she's taking it? Well, we can tell her what she's taken, but we can't write it down for her. She has to write it down, because then we have to write it down for everybody.
Yeah. So does
I'm telling you,
anybody else? Yeah. Does anybody else feel any anxiety right now, or any feeling? Like I have a feeling. I'm naming it anxiety. It's in my lower gut. Does anybody else have a feeling? Is it just me?
no, I'm just pissed off.
It just gets me passionate because like I feel like every time I hear these stories, it's like it's so hard for me to it's like we continue with the old system that doesn't work because it's convenient for people, but yet it doesn't work. And so for me, I'm such a fire element, like I'm a triple fire sign. And so I like, it just gets me so passionate in it. And I love to help people when it comes to this, just because I know there's a better way. There's a better way. And fingers crossed, at least I get the seeds in for next generations if it doesn't happen my lifetime.
But on.
You're
really,
young. Oh,
I really appreciate your passion and your fire and where you're coming from. And I just did a little, quiet magic frame from Nico to release the feeling, since it wasn't all of us. And so now we start to transition the conversation. So the theme is that it doesn't matter which vantage point any one of us has been in. We've all witnessed a degree of unworkability in this world. We've all witnessed things like healthcare systems that are supposed to be providing healthcare and that are just horrendous for people. And this call is emerging from a deeper place. And what's happened is there've been a number of particularly women in their 60s and 70s who have recently emerged in the community, and they've been praying for decades to be able to make an impact on the planet, and they haven't known how to. And these are behind the scenes kind of people. They're not like me, willing to step in front of a camera and have this conversation. They may join in these conversations, but that's not their natural tendency. We're all different. That's my natural tendency. That's what I do. But I'm going through a big mentorship with Nico, where thinking nice thoughts is getting replaced with being in my heart. And there's a difference. And so when I didn't know the difference, I thought thinking nice thoughts was being in my heart, right? Because that was nicer than who I was before that, right? So it felt like heart energy. But the heart energy is very different. We've talked about it on the Lapanga calls in the past months, particularly with Nico. And it's a quieter place. It's a more still place. It's a felt place. And so I want to tie a couple things together. This concept of being in the heart. And then another concept I want to bring in is that I have this extraordinary privilege. This reminds me to turn my phone off, where for the first 5 years of this company, when the phone rang, I answered it. So I was learning what the company was by learning what the customers are. And now I only do, a call a week or a couple calls a week at most. For the most part, I'm not doing that. But during those years when I was learning that, it was particularly when we switched from the first generation Natural Action Technologies products and we added the UMH products. And people would call, and I'm super consistent with helping people scale down the amount of money that they spend with us. It's like when I first got Structured Water, I bought a shower device because I thought, oh, I can drink it and bathe in it. That'll be the most efficient. Then I bought a sink device. Then I bought a garden device. Then I bought a portable device. Then I bought a whole house device. Don't do it like me. Just get the whole house device, right? Like you can actually save a lot of money that way. So I'm really good at that. And we added this new product line that was like twice as expensive. And people would call, and it was a deepening of my level of discernment, of feeling, of being with them. And I could feel the emergence from like deep within them that they were a match to the higher price product. And I would always apologize and say, I'm sorry to say this, but the reason the conversation is starting to get sticky now is because you're not a match with the lower price product that you're talking about. You're supposed to get the more expensive one. And here's what I see. And they go, oh, and then boom, they buy it like that. Because their cells had already identified it. And I was helping them see that. And so what the phone call is primarily about is exhausting the mind So the person's calling for reassurance because they have all these concerns and things they've been educated about and things they want to make sure that they understand before they buy it. But deep down inside, the cells had already decided I'm getting the more expensive product. And so I would just act as a catalyst beyond what their mind was saying to support them to get that. So these women are showing up, and it doesn't have to be women. It just happens to have been the first few that have shown up are women, and they have some power in their lives. They might have money, or they might have a deep hold on their heart. It's different with each one of them, but they've been recognizing the Cosmic Tower project and saying, that's what I've been waiting for decades. And I want to get involved. And so we've created a program where somebody deposits $100,000 with us, and then they just email us and say, tower here, tower here, tower here. And we just send them out to all their people. And then there seems to be an emergence of a new thing, which is some of those people then contact us and pay for the one that they have on demo. And then we send a new one to the person who paid for it originally. And so there's this spreading of this energy and this education going on in a way that I never could have imagined. Now it's time for weaving in one more concept, which I think is really important. This dialogue that I'm initiating publicly is not the Cosmic Tower sales program. The Cosmic Tower is extraordinary, but it's training wheels for humanity. The real truth is when we remember who we are without the tools, so that the wellness enterprise doesn't have to ship anything to anybody anymore because we all remember it. That's the game we're actually playing, right? And we're using training wheels. And so the Aqua Energizers are training wheels, and the Cosmic Towers are training wheels. But most of all, it's the dialogues we have with each other. And it's the nurturance of the depth of what we really want underneath that I'm fascinated by right now. And so it is usually when I roll something out, I like branded, and I've got like bullet points, and there's like, right, yeah, you get that, Megan? Like, and there's like this way of doing it that like Patter the salesman like gets out there, and yeah, that's not going to be this. It's not even mine to name. I don't even know if it'll have a name. Mine is that as a masculine, aware businessman in this situation is to hold structure and space for it to emerge on its own. So back to Megan bringing the perfect topic in our Hello Talk today, it's like many of us have this deep knowing that the systems that are in this world need to crumble and be replaced by something extraordinarily better. And it's a very interesting playground in which that will happen. Because the further I go back in it, the more, like, I mean, we can talk together about what we think causes it, but it starts somewhere in the idea of separation, and somewhere in the idea of a me identity, and I'm supposed to be this type of person going and taking care of the things that are me. And I don't think that's our hunger. I don't think that's what we want underneath. I think we want, like, I notice that I can have extraordinary intimacy from a conversation like this, and then I can feel peaceful and fulfilled from it, right? And so, lately the Wellness Enterprise is doing better, and we're reaching more people, and it's a really exciting time. And so there's an opportunity to get like swept up into sales and allocating the money to make a difference in the world and stuff like that. And it's like that's shallow for me. It has a layer of feeling that I can get lost in, and I have to I have to stop and breathe and go, no, wait a minute, what am I really interested in causing here? And what I'm really interested in causing is the furtherment of our species, our greater union, our coming together. And so I had the first call yesterday with two of these women who have shown up, and I started with them on purpose. I did not anticipate having this call the next day at all. Um, but I started with them because the desire in them, with their maturity and all they've lived through, they're really holding the heart space well, as far as I can tell. So not just thinking nice thoughts, but actually the being. And what that looks like is descriptions of, yeah, I've kind of watched a lot of people leave my life as I've done more better things for myself. And I just stay home because I don't want to go anywhere and be with people who aren't matching that heart vibration. And I have less to say. And so there's this calming and sinking in. I feel like saying you're like dropping into a trance with me. You're like rolling a little on your chair, and just like we're anchoring in the space, like you're holding the energy that matches the conversation. And ultimately that's exactly what I'm after. Like I feel so intimate with you right now, Zane. It's just like this deep connection. And that's what I'm pursuing. That's the stage I'm attempting to set for us, is when we bring forth that energy and just be together, what happens? And so in the call yesterday, these women don't know how to, the how to take what, like Megan's dream of reforming the healthcare system, their how to might sound like raising the vibration to somebody. That might be, Nico's very particular with words, so he would probably give me like 5 different choices here if he was here. Like he's really good with that. There's how to, I'll say it in my words. It's like how to express the most beautiful music that wants to come through me in a collective orientation. Right? I know it's not a self thing. It's an us thing. And so all I know to do is to open this conversation with you and see what emerges. And then as far as I can tell, there'll just be another call. And that call will be by invitation right now, so that we do our best to attract people who are like-minded and understanding. Like I'm getting a lot of head nodding in this conversation. Yeah, Megan, I feel you so much with me, and Marcia and Jay-Z and Rick. I appreciate you being here, and your videos being on or off is just fine. I feel you guys, more than ever. So this is Thursday, August 29th. The next call will be Wednesday, whatever that is, September 3rd or 4th or something, the middle of next week. And it'll be the same time, the usual time, 3 o'clock Eastern time. And we're just going to be hanging out. And these 2 women that I started the first call with are going to be there. And I don't know what's going to happen. So there it is. It's opened up. We make space for who wants to, join. And Megan's going to be.
I'm sitting here like all excited. It's been a while since I've been to one of these meetings or like these opportunities. And so I'm so excited. I just love this group. It's funny because some of the things that you were saying, like totally ignited what I've been going through too, like good versus nice, like in really just embodying that, being a good person versus a nice person. That's something I've also had to deal with, just because I always assumed nice. But then sometimes I get taken advantage of, with just being nice and this and that and walked over. And so learning that difference was huge. And also too, there was something that you said when, with the men and then these women coming to you. Another weird thing I had with like meditation, a few weeks ago that I'm still sitting with, but it was like I saw men as like for a radio, like men set the tone and women vibrated out, kind of a feeling. And it was this thing. And so I feel like with you guys, like holding that tone of the new consciousness and you know, the vibration out and these women coming and it's like, I'm ready to vibrate out. It's like I felt that. And so it kind of connected to this like image that I had. But also too, I made a lot of notes. I get really excited, so I'm sorry if I'm a little too much, guys.
Oh, good. You are not
But-
too much. You are just wonderful.
But there was another thing that, you know, that when you said about those ladies, I've been told like before, like I love working with people and their passions. Again, I'm a triple fire sign, Leo, Sun, rising Aries, and then like a Sag moon. So I'm like all of the fire in a bundle, okay? And my favorite thing is working with people and their passions, you know, and it's like, how can you bring it to a higher consciousness? Because in my mind, where I see things, it's just, oh, let's go, let's do this. And this is how we can make those steps. And so I would love to get, if that's an open call when they're there, because like I wrote down the word heartist, like an artist for the heart, to help them express what they want out. And it was kind of a fun little thing. And so it would be cool to see, like, you know, because like what are their passions? You know, is it working with children? Because that's a huge thing right now where honestly, like, you know, after healthcare, I also have I have so many books of ideas. This is just 5 seconds of me writing notes down. I have so many notebooks everywhere. But like technologies and stuff, and that brings me to my question after, when it comes to the technology and the cosmic tower. I have a question with that. But oh, hold on. No, now I'm gonna get myself all confused with what I was gonna say. But no, I love, oh, and then yeah, like school, but like seeing what their passions are and seeing how they would like what it is inside that they want to pull out and how they would like to help that with higher consciousness, and just to like, since they're there, but just to help. I would love to just even listen if I can on those calls, just because it's just, I love it so much. And then my last thing with the cosmic tower, so I've done a very little research, so pardon me for my ignorance when it comes to this, but I understand the amazingness with it and with the water and the technologies and everything. And I have like a friend who is all about like the Healy. I don't know if you've heard about this Healy, where it's kind of like a TENS unit device, where I'm not really vibing it, you know, and there's something, but I have this real urge lately to bridge like with the science. The science, I think, is the bridge of the Eastern and Western worlds, and bringing them together, because like quantifying it, because every time I've gone to the VPs and all the high ups in my companies pitching for this insurance idea, and they, you know, shoot me down. I try to pitch, you know, wellness programs for preventative measures instead of always being reactive when it comes to healthcare, you know, and they tell me, oh, well, it's not quantifiable, so we can't support anything like that. You know, it has to be, if you can't quantify it, doesn't matter the quality, kind of a thing. And so is there like, where can I find more information? Because I've always been, because they also have something that like is like in a whole room kind of a thing, but I've always been more towards the cosmic tower. I don't know why. I keep telling my friend about that, but she's really into the other. But is there like place where I can research it? Should I just Google it, or like,
How do you research the cosmic tower? Is that question?
yeah. Like, how do I learn more?
I mean, that's super easy. You just go to the wellnessenterprise.com, and our top
And-
menu item is Cosmic Tower.
Is that okay? Cool.
And we
cool.
only have one page on the website that we
Oh.
put everything there. And
Okay.
then that spills into the YouTube channel.
Perfect. Okay.
And so everything's there. And I had an interesting observation last night. So my daughter's visiting from Amsterdam, and we're planning our weekend, talking about a couple days in advance. And she and her boyfriend are on the couch with their phones pulling information while I'm sending the email to invite you to this call. And they were running their information through a browser, through Google. And so they kept coming up with false, like made up, not true limitations that look like truth. So they're telling me the road is closed at mile and 20 and 21, and there are going to be 20 to 30-minute interruptions in the flow of traffic, and we can't go that way. And so I finished sending the email out, and I went to an actual authentic source of information, which is the Maui PD and Highways websites. And I got the truthful information, which is that there's nothing.
There's nothing going on.
And then they were also living inside of the weather report, which they were pulling through their browser. And they're living inside of the fear of road closures and a tropical storm. And I was like, okay, well, here's my weather app for the towns on the island where we're going to go. And we've got 30% chance of showers for one day in the next 10 days, and everything else is sunny. So I think we'll just assume good weather and that the road's open. So this kind of bullshit is what people are living into if they go to a browser.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, it's gotten really bad. Like the Wellness Enterprise used to rank highly for over 1,000 keywords, which basically means we got a lot of traffic from Google and YouTube just because we're such authentic publishers. That's no longer enough. We've lost somewhere between 80 and 95% of those rankings. And we didn't change. The algorithms at Google changed. And so what's happening is there's a profound stranglehold on the browsers, and there's one view of reality being shown to people through there, and it's not a factual view. So every one of us, me included for sure, has limitations that we're buying into that we think are truthful that aren't. And that's like what there is to walk on together as we walk through this dialogue. And it's our way of being, and actually being in the Heart Center, that's going to carry the day as far as I can tell. And so we need to well, we don't need to do anything, but there's an opportunity to like open the space of love and peace in ourselves, and to be that as a community together as we have these dialogues. And it's one thing to review the hurdles that are in the way and to understand them, and it's another thing to act like they're real and to be swept away from them. And so if we can hold the space of connectedness from our hearts, then we can still have a dialogue about it, but the dialogue doesn't have the same hooks and the same energy. So I'm fascinated by all of this. I think this is the way a portion of the species comes together and creates a magnetic vibration of a frequency that we desire to live in. This is the how, you know? And so for whatever reason, like God's plan for this little boy that's in here was to give him an older brother who's 22 months older, and to give me a competitive spirit that was as fiery and nasty as anybody you'll ever meet, and to have me chase him through my childhood, like always trying to be 2 years older than I am, well, plus enough to beat his ass, right? Like I had that whole energy. And so I learned games, and I learned how to ruthlessly win any game that I participated in, because my survival felt like it was tied to all that. So now pull him through all that journey, have him make $5 million in his 30s, and then take all that money away and have him see what's left, right? And that's how I get to be in this seat, in this game. And the game is like the future of our species. The game is that every one of us is a piece of a integrated puzzle. We're all essential for it. And as we unite, we're going somewhere. And we're doing it now. It's game on. This is what it looks. This is what playing the game of life actually looks like. You're doing it. We are doing it, and we're doing it perfectly. We really are. Rick, nice to see you. I see you put your video on. Did you want to jump in the conversation?
Yeah, I would say there's a synchronicity that's taking place. I know that Carrie Bennett with the Quantum Biology Collective, you know, she's of a like mind herself. She has a tower, and she's just an amazing person. And she's now changed her pricing structure to whatever you think it's worth for you. You know, no set structure. Pay what you think it's worth. And just relying on people to be honest and genuine and trusting that that'll, you know, that's going to work for her. I have so much respect and love for that woman. Okay. That's who she is. That's how genuine she is, because she believes she's giving such a quality product to her, you know, to her followers. And she does. I mean, she's worth every penny of it. Okay. So, yeah, it's a wonderful thing. People are, and you know, she's of the same kind of thing. You know, you buy local, buy from people you know, trust, you know your sources for everything, and only deal with people who are going to have a reputation that they're going to be boldly and proudly to put out there, and encourage skepticism and look behind the scenes. You know, she says, yeah, you got to do. So, you know, she does a lot of screening for us, and she tells us what she's looking for, you know, and she tries to get as locally sourced as possible and as high quality sourced as possible in all cases. So, and she's deeply grounded in the best drug is no drug. And the best treatment is probably by nature. Let's see what nature's offering us that we don't need to take from anywhere else. Okay. Let's see what are you grounded? Are you circadian? Those are the things she starts with before she does anything else. She wants to know how tuned in are you to your genetic evolutionary biology, to the whole microbiome, to the solar, the sun, the effects, and other dimensions. How tuned in are you to yourself? Do you listen to yourself, or do you listen to everybody outside of yourself? Are you tuning into yourself and your inner self? You know, it's like a lot of times when people, you know, will say, they'll take a supplement, she goes, well, what have you noticed? And they go, well, I don't really know. She goes, well, my point would be, if you're not noticing anything, why are you taking it? You know, the best supplement is no supplement unless you actually need it. And she's a big fan of structured water. First of all, if you're going to have water, it's going to be structured. It's going to be pure. It's going to be structured. It's going to be mineralized. Okay. And that's how you should be getting most of your minerals in your water, because you can't rely on your food. Okay. So more than pills, you know, drops that you can add to your water, unless you have a home device that mineralizes it after it structures it. But yeah, because, you know, when you take all the constituents of the body, which are wrapped around with water, we're 98% water, right? So yeah, a lot of respect for water. Nobody loves her water and respects water more than Carrie does. Okay. So yeah. So I think, you know, that's where people are coming to realize is water's as close to life without being life as you're going to get.
Or maybe it is life. Like I was asked yesterday
There's no life without it. Yeah.
Like, you know, like, do you think part of the reason the Cosmic Towers are so successful the way they are is because they're interacting with water? Like, yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
think that's why, Creator tapped me. Like, I was a financial industry guy, but I had this slant for recycling. And that slant built enough energy in my life that I was able to get pulled through that doorway and an environmental cause out of the finance industry and into this industry. And then as soon as I got here, it's like, well, you're not actually going to get any traction on the environmental thing. It's health and consciousness that you're going to get traction with. I had no idea. It just pulled me along. I would say that water just pulled me along and put me in the position. So we're deeply thankful for Carrie's work, and yeah, she's a really powerhouse. We've met a lot of really cool people, including you. Rick, I think I'm observing for the first time since we've been in video call together that you're not on oxygen right now.
You know,
Say that.
Ending.
Are
Yeah.
you feeling better?
hanging on my chair behind me. Yeah, I'm trying to learn to live without it. Even though I'm medically, told that I should be on at least 2 liters.
Yeah.
And I've decided there are times when I need it, but it's largely a state of mind. And I was talking to my daughter-in-law, who's a nurse, and she had a woman who had pulmonary hypertension, okay? And with pulmonary hypertension, she would need large amounts of oxygen. And it would kick in when she was anxious. When she got anxious, she would need 6 liters of oxygen, okay? And I kind of sensed that I had periods in my life where I was be up doing something on oxygen even. And I would just run out of oxygen. I couldn't be up for long, even with oxygen. But there would be periods where I was feeling like, as soon as I would get up, I would start thinking about where am I gonna sit back down, right? It's almost after I get up, before I move, I need to know where I'm gonna go. Gotta be very strategic because I'm gonna run out of oxygen. What does that sound like? It sounds like an expectation I'm setting up, right? Pretty much. Well, that was my experience. And so I didn't really realize the degree to which I was really programming myself. Okay, and we all do this. So I had, before I even left my seating on oxygen, I'd already told myself I will be out of oxygen about there. So I get there. I'm going to be very strategic about to make sure I have everything I want because I'm not going to be coming back and, blah, blah, blah. Somebody explained to me one time, when you wake up, Mr. Yarian, now that your lungs are so deformed and, destroyed, you got this pizza pie. And every day it varies in size, but you only have so much energy. And how you dispense it, it's going to make it through the day. Well, that makes sense, okay? And I like that analogy. It makes sense. But the problem is I think I was distorting my piece of pie. And well, I agree you have to be strategic, and I'm much more strategic now because I don't need to make 10 trips if 1 or 2 will do it, because it still is a challenge for me. But what I've learned is when I'm in the moment and I'm not thinking about it, I don't know that I don't need oxygen because I feel okay. I mean, just the fact that here I'm having this conversation with you. And as you know, to make your vocal cords vibrate, it requires exhaling. And I'm doing more exhaling than I am inhaling. But that doesn't seem to be a problem. So, so much of our life is a mental thing. Okay. So someone shared an audio recording with me that had a profound impact on me. And it says one law I am. Every moment of every second of every day, you're manifesting what the next moment is going to be. That we're all God inside. And when we come into this world, our spirit is given a persona. And that persona is what is taught all the rules of how this spirit is going to live in this world. That's our unconscious. We get programmed, okay? And we don't really come up with our original thinking until, you know, we're 12 or 13 years old. But by then we got all the rules of what we can't do. We've been told all the things we can't do. We have all these limitations that have been imposed upon us. In addition to perhaps some that we incurred in utero, okay? But anyway, so the deal is, as mentioned in this audio clip, every moment of every day, every thought that we have is going directly up to God, and he's manifesting it for us, okay? By the millisecond, every living person on this earth is the God in us, is sending that signal up, and God's manifesting it. So as long as you continue to believe the way you believe, you're going to continue to get what you're going to get. And only when you're 100% convinced that things have changed, then there's a shift. But it means your persona cannot make that shift with you, okay? You have to be willing to sacrifice Patter or whoever you are to become someone totally different. Okay, you have to be willing to make that sacrifice. And that means the people who knew you as you were will not know you who you are now. So
beautiful, Rick. So beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I remember when I met you, I think there was some real concerns about how many months you would live. And
yeah, I was thinking, well, yeah, I was not buying anything for myself. I said, what is the point? I'm not even going to be around. And to my surprise, here I am. And I figured, like, I'm late to the game on religion. My wife was a Catholic. And I sat next to her in the pews for 33 years. And when she expired, she was the sweetest, most wonderful woman on this earth. And she was 3 years older than I. And she was also 2 inches taller than I. And she was Venus in my eyes. And the thing is, her inner soul was even more beautiful than her outward soul. And she wanted to be a wallflower, but she was anything but a wallflower. She would walk in, she was strikingly beautiful blonde, okay? And she's the one who told me that she loved me, which was pretty unbelievable, but hey, I was grateful, okay? What can I tell you? So I learned a little gratitude there. And so I was 31 and she was 34. And so here I am, a professor at the University of Maryland, and I'm telling her I'm going to leave. I've known her for like three years. She's a book sales rep. And she comes into me, and I would see her like every semester, and she would show me what books, and I used some of her books. And we just had a nice friendship. We sit down and talk. We talk about things from our heart. And anyway, so she comes in, I think it's summer. And it's coming up on the spring, summer. And we put in orders for fall class. And so she was asking me what I was going to consider for the following fall. I said, oh, I'm not going to be here next fall. And she goes, no, what's happening? And I said, well, I think I'm going to probably move to Colorado. I'd been out there, and I really loved the place, and I was thinking I would go back out. Anyway, to make it short, she said, she goes, well, there's something I have to tell you. And I said, yeah, what's that? She says, so she said, you don't have to say anything, but I need to tell you this. She said, I just want you to know that I'm in love with you. And she says, I turned down 2 people already to get married because of you. And I said, well, I'm sorry about that. She goes, well, I'm not. But she says, I just want you to know that I'm a big fan of yours, if that matters to you at all in your decision. And well, that ended up being my wife, okay? I couldn't turn that one down. And so, 2 years later, 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 2 years later of course, being with her was like the most wonderful thing in the world, if you've ever been in love. And about 4 years in, she says to me, 3 or 4 years in, she says to me, she goes, "Do we want to have a child?" And I said, "I'm pretty good with where we are. I'm really enjoying my life with you." She goes, "Don't you think it would be an exciting adventure?" And I said, I believe in reincarnation. And I said to her, I said, "Denise," I said, "I've been down this road before, okay?" And she says, "Explain that." I said, "Okay, well, I do believe in reincarnation, and I've done this. I don't have any romantic notions about what it is to bring a child into this world and raise one." I said, "So to me, it's just a lot of work." And she goes, "No, I understand." She goes, "But don't you think it would be exciting and fun?" I said, "And very challenging." She goes, "But wouldn't it be exciting?" And she goes, "And don't you like to take adventures with me?" I said, "I do." And she goes, "And how long do you want to be with me?" I said, "For the rest of my life." She goes, "Well, are you up for an adventure for the rest of our lives?" And how could I turn it down? She just knew how to speak to me. I mean, that was not my plan. I did not plan to have kids, but when she presented it that way, I mean, yeah, I was planning to be married to her for my entire life, and I did enjoy adventures with her. So I couldn't refuse. So, and the one thing I can say, and I'm so grateful, I never cry when I think of her, which is a wonderful thing. And it's not because I don't miss her, because I miss her dearly every day. But I feel like I was with her for 1 year, would have been a gift beyond. I had her 10 days short of 38 years. Imagine that. So, there's no way I can feel sad. I feel like I had this great gift for 38 years. And my son feels like he had the greatest mother he could have possibly had. So between the two of us, we're quite happy. So when she passed, you can imagine how I felt.
Yeah.
Definitely my better half was gone. Like, how about 2/3 of it? And I couldn't die fast enough. So she died in May 31st, 2019. And I started smoking like a maniac. And within a year, I had esophageal cancer. It was not that I never smoked. I had been a smoker, okay, but not like this. And because I wanted to be with her, but at the same time, my son says, "Dad," he says, "you're not Mom." He says, "You need to get your act together." So I decided to become a Catholic too. And during our sessions that are 3 o'clock, and I play Divine Mercy every day between 3 and 4 o'clock. So you'll find if I disappear for 15 minutes, that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's just who I am. Okay. That's where I am, and still striving to be with my wife, because I know she went straight to heaven. That's just who she was. She couldn't lie, or no, that wasn't her. If she had nothing nice to say, she would smile and say nothing. That's exactly what she did. She never talked about other people behind their backs. Nope. She was always genuine and kind and always reserved. That's just the way she liked her life. And did she pick me? Why would she pick me? I have no idea. And people still tell me to this day, they look at that picture of us and they go, "Why would she pick you?" I said, "I don't know. My good fortune." That's what I say. I'm not a fool.
Well, really appreciate your sharing your story, and yeah, it's nice to know you've had that kind of relationship, and that here you are, like it's what, 10 years, 11
Yes.
years.
Well, so
And
listen to this. This is the most fascinating part. So my son, who is a lawyer, and he lives in LA, he's a great piano player. He got a scholarship to go to USC to play piano. And he graduated from there, but he wanted to become a lawyer. So he went to Chicago, got his law degree on a scholarship, went back to LA, practiced law for 8 years, And when his mother died, he came home, called up his roommate who was playing piano in New York, earning his living because they were both roommates as piano performance majors. They renewed their friendship. A year later, my son meets the woman he's going to marry, and it happens to be his roommate's friend. And that he renewed his relationship at my wife's death. They would say they renewed his relationship. He ends up introducing her to a young lady from New York who's living in California, and he works for his roommate's brother. He left the law firm, is working at a retirement community. So my wife is still doing her thing. What can I tell you? My son's married now, and yeah, I'm telling you, things happen for a reason, okay? So with my wife's passing, my son meets his future wife and his future employer. It's all tied in. Who would have guessed?
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
So, you know what? Yeah, life is amazing. The fact that I'm still alive, my friends say, oh, the only medicine I take is I breathe this Bravana stuff into my lungs, but I'm not on any, and I take this medication to help me pee. I forget what it's called, but that's it. All my friends are on all these medications. I'm not on any. I've had 5 cancers and a heart attack, and I'm not on any meds. How is that possible? I think I take good care of myself. I know spiritually, I'm working on it, okay? I have a tower. I only have structured water in my body. I meditate every day. I use a red light. Oh, that's an amazing thing too. I don't know if any of you have done any red light treatments, but every day I do at least an hour every day under the red light.
Nice.
And the circadian, getting up at sunrise, that's amazing too. Yeah, I mean, those things, they don't cost you anything except your time. They're inconvenient. And you notice when I'm on the screen, I'm blocking the blue light. I'm not doing that stuff. Trying to keep the melatonin level up, okay? Helps me with my sleep. So these are all things that I learned from, Carrie.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
Pat, do you wear the blue blockers?
I do. I got a pair right here. They're I need my readers. So I
Yeah,
need,
but no, I mean, they gotta be orange lenses or at least yellow. If they're not yellow or orange, they're not blue blockers.
no?
Nope, they may have that little, yeah. I'm serious. If you want serious blue blockers, you gotta get the orange or the yellow, it's true.
I can learn more about that.
And the important thing is there, the neurons in your eye are the most sensitive of any neurons in your body, and blue light damages them. So you need to know that. If you're spending much time in front of screens, whether it's your iPhone or, tablets or a TV set, they put out so much garbage light. It's junk light, okay? It has too much blue light in it. And you need to minimize that. So anytime I'm on the screens, and I spend a lot of my time at home, so I'm on the screens, man, if I'm not outside, and I don't wear sunglasses outside at all, ever, okay? You need to get the UVA in your eyeballs, okay? That helps your body make the serotonin. That's important for you. If you go outside and wear sunglasses, your body doesn't know you're outside. Did you know that? You're much more likely to get a sunburn if you're wearing sunglasses.
Yeah,
You have
actually,
to take your sunglasses off.
never liked sunglasses. So
Oh yeah, because your eyes are what tell your body you're out in the sun. So it starts producing the chemicals to protect itself. So yeah, walk outside and keep your sunglasses on and get yourself a sunburn. No, I never put on anything when I go outside. Have you ever heard of what they call it a solar callus? Have you ever heard of that?
no. Solar cows.
All right, so solar callus. In the morning when the sun first comes up, it's reddish, okay? And that a red light kind of mimics that impact. And what it does is your mitochondria. It triggers the mitochondria to start dumping out melatonin. So if you go from under that red light and you go outside within a couple hours, it's as though your body has suntan lotion already on. Your mitochondria are ready to deal with sunlight because that's the way they evolved. They always get the red before the sunlight came up. But if you're living inside all the time, your body never gets a red light, so it doesn't know that. So, but as long as you got the red light on your skin before you go outside, then you go outside and your mitochondria already know they protected the body. And then as the sunlight starts penetrating your skin, the mitochondria will start producing more, but they've already got a head start. That's the thing, you got to get the head start. And over time, they get used to that. And so, yeah, I've never been this tan in my life. Okay. Now I don't stay outside beyond 11 o'clock in the day because the sun is too intense, but I never put anything on. I mean, to the extent I should be putting creams on my body. I don't even do that. Don't even put cream on my body, but yeah,
I think
it's
we're
called a solar
natural.
palace.
Yeah, when we're natural, that's the kind of experience we have. So I guess I know more about solar callus than I would think, because I'm definitely the tannest I've ever been in my life. There's a salt lamp on right now, so I might look a little red, but yeah, I don't put sunscreen on, and I spend hours in the sun most days. And
My dermatologist would scream if she heard that, you know, she would say, "Oh my God, don't you like your skin?" I'd go, "Yes, I do. That's why I'm out in the sun."
well, this is the nature of this conversation, is that, when you shift where you're coming from, and your, I guess, consciousness would be the word I would choose. When you shift your consciousness about it, you
Yeah.
just simply have a different understanding. So, here we have the testimony right before us, everybody else, like, here's Rick with no oxygen on, and then that sparks this conversation. And the conversation is that the sun is actually really healthy and wonderful.
Exactly.
And so, here's my beloved daughter visiting from Amsterdam, and she and her partner are slathering themselves with sunscreen. And it's not a parent's job to tell anybody what to do. It's probably not a human's job to tell anybody what to do. And so, I just go out in the sun without sunscreen and get really tan, and that's what's available. And I thought that this body would never tan. Like, I'm more of Irish descent, and I just didn't think I would ever be tan. But when I got to Hawaii, I took it really, really slow, super, super slow. Wear a hat, wear a shirt, barely get any sun, and then just a little bit at a time, like over a year. And I got one sunburn last year when I went out on my son's boat for the day, and there was just no place to hide. I had my hat and I had my shirt, and I still burned. But one burn in a year, that's pretty good. Um, yeah. So this is a big deal what you're illuminating here, Rick. I hear a lot of gratitude, and a lot of wonder, and a lot of embrace of the natural. And I think those are some of the things that this conversation's about. Like, that's part of why we're gathering, is to hear from one another our experiences with going deeper and deeper into that.
Yeah.
So
I found the Schumann frequencies too. I play those. I have these cheek oils that I play them through. Oh my goodness. It just, I think it stimulates my vagus nerve because it's just so comforting. I just really calm down when I get bombarded with the Schumann frequencies.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think frequencies are amazing. Yeah.
that's beautiful. Cool. Does anybody else want to jump in? I don't have a direction. We may be heading toward winding up. I'm not certain how I'm going to host the call next Wednesday. I think what I'm going to do is just do Zoom like this, like normal, and then have people who don't want to participate that way just dial in by the phone numbers. I think that works. So that's a pretty good assumption. Is there anybody here who doesn't want to be invited to the call? Okay, we'll make sure you guys all get invited. And then if anybody's watching the recording, just send an email to support@thewellnessenterprise.com, and we'll invite you. Make sure we get the call logistics, but the time's going to be Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. And what is that date? Just be precise with you for a sec. pull up my calendar. So it looks like it's the 4th is Wednesday.
Mm.
So we'll get together on the 4th, and you know, we'll ask when we start those calls about recording them and whether they can be recorded or it's just something you have to fall into. I would prefer to record them because people's lives are busy. And yeah. So thank you for being part of this discussion. Is there anything more to be said?
Good to see you all.
Yeah. Okay, that's what there is to be said.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and thank you for your share. That my heart is so full hearing your love for your wife. That just makes my heart so full. So thank you for sharing such a sweet moment. Like, that was really kind. Thank you.
Well, you know, she's the only one I've ever, her birthday was my favorite day of the year, okay? I said, look, you were born before me, but you were God's gift to me. And I said, so I don't care about my birthday, I care about yours. Because you were the gift, okay? That's how I felt about my wife.
That's so beautiful.
I wish
Well,
everybody felt that way about their spouse, you know? Wonderful.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's great to see you guys.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody. Thank you,
All right,
Patty.
Well,
Yeah.
be
Thanks
well.
thanks for being here. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Bye for
Thanks.
now.
Bye.